They're guys. They do magic. They are the Magic Guys.
Listen to that sweet, sweet crack of Jedi juice. What's up, everyone? Episode 100 and something. 119 of the Magic Guys. I'm Josh Lombito. That's Nick K. And oh my God, we got Jason Marr in the house. What's up, Jace?
Hello, everybody. It's me.
Founding father of the Magic Guys podcast. Yeah,
I'm
boy.
back.
We're all here to chat and...
For a one-time special.
Well, Jason, you've been missed immensely by all the listeners here. Why don't you tell them what you've been up to, my friend?
Doing 365 days of magic. That's what I've been up to.
Oh, yeah.
Busy.
Dude, and not a day. Have you overtaken the first time you started yet?
No, that
Like
was
the amount of days?
137. Now I'm currently editing 123 right now.
And you got to what before? 100? I thought it was like 160. Was it 130 something?
137.
Yeah. Goddamn. That's going to be, that's going to be a good feeling when you get past that and you're not like
Almost past.
bloodshot and sick and like run down.
Well, this time I'm not. This time I'm handling it much better.
That's what I'm saying.
one-
Like, yeah, it'll feel good to pass it and still be in like full health.
Yeah.
You're managing it much better. Yeah, boy.
Well, I'm also technically I'm behind in the 365. Technically, not by much though. Like a day
Oh,
or two, I
shit.
think.
Oh, shit.
Well, the way I am treating it is like I'm not going to make myself sick for this, and I also don't want to just put out content for the sake of putting out content. So I'll still complete this challenge. I'll still do that, but I'm not going to die doing it. I'm just going to do the best I can, put the best quality out.
I think it's pretty remarkable that you're doing 365 and there's people like struggling to do, 30 days in May.
Yeah. I mean, I've already done that 4 times over now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all
do
you
you
got to
thi- I
think
mean-
about it. Just 12 of them.
It's not even that bad.
But here's the thing, man.
6
Like,
of
a lot
us.
of people wouldn't even know where to start. Like, how do you pull material? Do you literally fabricate it yourself, or do you just go through, like, I don't know, I'm looking at, like, Tarbell or maybe Arts of Astonishment. Like, do you just go through and just purposely learn stuff, or is it straight from the top of the dome? Like, what is your creative process?
At the moment, it's still from the top of the dome because I know so much material that, I mean, I've probably got more material than most magicians in Australia combined. But I just
Yeah.
so I'm just burning through that at the moment. But I'm sure I'll reach a point where I'm like, all right, time to crack out the old Tarbell, Volume
Yeah.
4. Going with the balls.
I have
Volume 4.
I have a creative process every now and again where I'll just pick out 2 or 3 moves and see how many bits of magic I can come up, like how many routines I can come up with using just those moves. And the reason
All
I
right,
do this is
sponge dong.
before
How many?
I need to
No,
get
I
that.
meant
I need to
like-
get a sponge dome.
For day number... Oh, I've already gone past 69.
Did you see my? Yeah, but I can do it for 169. I get to do 69 like 3 times. So
Mm.
yeah, so there's a
Yeah.
few times that I get it.
What about like day...
Today's video is 1, 2, 3, and then I'll get to do 2, 3,
Ooh.
4, and then I'll get to do 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's right. Consecutive numbers, baby.
Yeah. Or if you get to... If you went a couple of days over and you do 369, that could be a sponge dong. Because that could be, a 369 could be... I don't know. I don't want to...
it would
Is
need
that
to
like
have
some
3
kind of weird-
testicles, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it would need to have 3 balls on it. It's like
Yeah.
269 can have 2, and 369 can have 3 balls. That'll be hilarious.
So we're all on the same page, basically. Yeah, nice.
A lot of balls, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
Right,
maybe
you
the
guys,
best...
what's been going on? I haven't heard from you guys. I heard that Josh is now doing magic for football.
Magic
Tell
is
us about
for
that, Josh.
football. That was a fun gig. Yeah. I wish I appreciated like NRL a bit more. Do you guys follow like rugby league at all?
No.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
not a
dude.
big thing here.
Oh, come on, man.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Well-
don't know shit all about it, dude. You kidding me?
Who
What
knows
about
sports, period? Like, I don't know any magicians that are, like, full sports guys. I mean,
Yeah.
the only person I know that's deeply into stuff like that, like Tim Ellis, who's, just turned 60. We had his roast yesterday, which we can talk about a bit later if you like. But, like, he loves wrestling, like the WWE stuff. So if, whenever they're in town, like he's there front and center. Like, I don't know if that's quite a sport.
It's not a sport. It's acting.
Well, well, let's call it theater. Let's give it a little bit more.
Well, it's still physical. It's still physical,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, so the NRL, they do this series I don't know if it's every year or every 2 years or whatever, but it's called the Magic Round series. And it's where every team in the NRL in Australia and New Zealand will all play each other over a 3-day period to get one winner at the end. So it's like this just full on cycle of just game after game after game. And people will be there for 3 days and watch it. So it's a big deal. And last time they came through Brisbane, I got to be a part of like the media call. So I did a bit of magic to some of the footy players, like for the news to watch and stuff. And then this time though, I got to actually go in there and do some magic. And basically they had, pretty much looked like a corporate event. Like they had these rooms that were indoors, aircon, very nice. You know, they're pumping them with food because they're just there all day. And it was surprisingly the perfect environment for magic because they're all blokes that are all there with their mates. They've been drinking and they're all looking for something to watch for 20 minutes, like to have a break from watching the games. Because everyone's there watching their own team. So sometimes matches are on that aren't their teams, but they've paid to be there all day. So they're still there.
Oh, great.
And they're all just there like, yeah. So the moment they hear, oh, there's magic for Magic Round, hell yeah. And they get into it and yeah, man. Yeah, lots of good laughs and good fun.
Are these the type of clientele that, you know, like when they're in these corporate boxes, they're just guys with like money. Like they would have rocked up in their Porsches and then watched footy all day and then go home because those are the guys you want to throw your business cards at. They're good value.
Yes, many a business card was given out that over those 2 days. Absolutely, yeah. So they're the guys that like going to events. They all, you know, run companies or whatever it is. I would just give them shit, you know, and make it obvious that we're in this fancy room.
I did something very similar, but for baseball, because baseball isn't really prominent here in Oz, as you guys know. But they've been sort of trying to get it off the ground for a while. And, you know, I got some pretty special tickets to watch the game and everything else. And after the game, they invited me to their corporate boxes to meet all the appropriate people. And it was a great time. And baseball is actually a lot more exciting than what I thought it would be. I know Americans make fun of it, you know, like it's like impossible to watch sober because it's just such an ordinary thing to do. But I had a blast doing that. And they gifted me a jersey from the Melbourne Aces, and I got to meet all the players. And it's a bit of a good time because I was having a conversation on Sunday. I was at an event, and I met some really nice people there, and it was like, you know, all really nice clientele. Like there was, you know, finance people and pilots from Qantas and all this stuff. And they were asking about like, oh, you know, when you do football clubs and stuff like that. I don't know if we should be slandering any football clubs, but I will say that there's some football clubs I've performed for in the AFL that were an absolute pleasure to perform for. And there was other ones that I was like, those guys need media training and etiquette training because they were just all kinds of awful. And surprisingly, if you were to guess which ones were absolutely feral, you might assume Collingwood, based on their fans, but that team were the most lovely people I'd probably perform for in the AFL.
True. Well,
yeah.
I wish I knew more about it to even know what, you know, the Collingwood fans were like.
Do you not even follow? Do you not like? Is this,
I know what AFL is, but for sure, like I know the Brisbane Broncos because that's where I live, and like I bought these little footballs to like customize some magic, like so basically use them instead of sponge balls. But you know, I'm a magician. I don't know sport outside of Hogwarts. That's kind of it.
Okay, well, I'm going to put this out there. I think that you as a magician or as a performer, that you sort of need to be well versed in most everything that you perform for. You know, like when you perform for Toyota, you should know a little bit about their product and what they do and a little bit about their history. It just shows you care and it helps solidify the relationship you can have with them. I think That's important. Jace, you've done a lot of corporates yourself. What are your thoughts on this? You're just like, I don't care who you are. I'm just going to do my magic and press on. Like, where do you stand on this?
Shit, dude. That's a weird one for me. I don't really care. Like I don't think it's super necessary. Like, sure, it probably helps, I guess. For me, I don't do that like at all. Like if I go to an event and I know nothing about it, then I'm just honest about it. Like honestly, I don't know anything about it. Teach me while we do some magic, and I have a goof, and they're educating me about it while I'm doing it. Right. And there's something wholesome about me not knowing anything about it, and then everyone's still having a good time, and then by the end of it, I can leave knowing something about it. Right. But that's just my thoughts. I mean, I'm not really that into corporate myself. I find corporate pretty boring, personally.
But sometimes that's the good thing. Like you go in there not knowing like who certain people are and whatever, and you just give everyone hell. Like if some of the players were to walk in, I'd treat them just the same, you know?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, it's
at this gig. But obviously I don't act like that. I don't walk around going, oh, football, we're so silly. You know, I still, no one would know I don't know at the gig. Like I'm very, you know, I turn it back on them really quick. Like, what did you think about that match? Oh, well, it's crazy. But I mean, was that one of your teams playing? Like, who's your you know, you just spin it back on them. And then you're like, all right, well, think of a card. And, you know, no one knows. But of course, if it was something more specific, like a specific company or brand or person, yeah, I would do my due diligence for sure. But it was my first time even going into the Suncorp Stadium, which is like the football stadium of Queensland. But it was insane just seeing that many amount of people in one place and like hearing them roar in real life, like when people roar when there's a goal and stuff. That was crazy.
Yeah, it's the energy that people chase, man. That's why they go.
Yeah, I was like, if only Magic would get that right.
You know, I think that these particular environments breed a particular type of spectator. So one of the things that I experience most when you're in this sort of realm is that a football crowd or any sort of like blue collar tradie types, they have a mentality in which they know you're good, they'll watch it, but through the whole time, they'll be trying to pepper you and give you a hard time. But if you come through it on the other end, after they've just been trying to hammer you or give you make it be difficult for you, if you come out the other side of it and finish your routine and finish your show, they'll go, mate, you're bloody good. You're bloody good. I didn't see nothing. That was amazing. And I've been blah, blah, blah. And I love that Penn and Teller show. And they'll come at you like that. But they have this sort of thing where I guess that maybe it's because the same mentality they have towards their apprentices or something, where they got to give them a peppering and be a little difficult, only for them to like come out of it at the end of it being like, nah, he's tough enough to work with us because he can take the peppering, he can take all the jabs that we, you know, every time we make fun. Some of those audiences exist like that, and you just need to sort of go, this is what I'm in for tonight. They're going to try and grill me, and I'm going to grill them back, and I'm going to fool them. And then when I do, they're going to be like, you're the greatest. We'll see you next time. And then they'll book you the next time, and there's no hostility. It's just everything's wonderful and welcoming and great. But that's what I find with those particular audiences there.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
and that's what we're saying, kids.
The same, or is it just how it is on my side of the planet?
What do you reckon, Jace?
One more time. Repeat that question. That exact question.
Do you experience the same sort of thing where like you have certain audiences that are like, this is the way they sort of do it, and you need to prove yourself in order for them to think that you're worthy, or is it a kind of thing where
I'm always worthy of a like and share, buddy? No,
hey.
We do. You know, on the streets, obviously, we get hecklers, probably more so than at a corporate gig, right? But I don't feel the need to prove myself, though. I don't really care. Like when someone tries to heckle me, there's two ways to deal with it. One is you can bite back, and then you have to win that battle, right? And if you don't win, well, now you've lost your credibility. The other one is just to not care. And me, I just have this mentality of like, I just don't care. Like someone would be like, magic's not real. And it's like, yeah, whatever. Like I'll just keep going on with the routine. Like who gives a shit? Why do I care what fucking Joe Blue says? I don't give a shit about that guy. And if I'm at a corporate gig, and the same sort of thing happens and some dude's like trying to give me a hard time, it's the same thing. I'm like, dude, I was like, it doesn't matter how much shit you want to give me. I get paid regardless. So it's like, It's like the more shit you give me, the more I don't have to work. I just get paid to listen to you talk shit, which is fine.
Absolutely, yeah. For me, I'm just
All
like,
of that
dude,
is
I've already
fine.
got
Yeah,
your money. I've already got your
exactly.
money. Mouth off all you like. I get paid by
Yeah,
the
just
hour, and
keep
I cost
chatting.
a fortune. You know?
Yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of how I handle it because I just
Yeah.
don't care. I used to when I was younger. I used to be very like, "Oh, I'm going to beat this guy, and I'd do it. I'd battle every single heckler, and then I had enough lines that I could do it. And I'd win pretty much all of those interactions. But and there's
Mm.
also the downside that not everyone will receive that victory as a good thing. Some of them will see it as you being like insecure that you have to win that battle, or do you know what I mean? Like it can
Mm.
sometimes be a negative.
Yeah.
So I think the best way to handle it is just to not give a shit. I just don't
Has there been
care.
any? Has there been any battles in the heckling realm that you've lost that come to mind that you're like, oh, I remember this, and this was the worst?
Not really.
Like when
No,
they're actually like a time that's actually stuck into your brain because it was bad.
no,
Is what
no.
is
I
what
don't.
you're
I have a
saying?
short memory. I have a very short memory. Like,
I have. Oh, I have one. I have a
how you
memory.
do?
Yeah, I was doing street shows back in the day, and I had a great crowd, and it was absolutely enormous. So I did my thing, and I'm just getting ready to hat my show and put my hat out and do my monies. And a group of dudes came through, okay? Don't know who they were. Could have been a footy trip, could have been a bunch of douchebags. I'm going to call them a bunch of douchebags. A bunch of douchebags go through my crowd, pushing people out the way and disperse, and they were jumping around in my show. Everyone was just like nuts to this, and they all walked away. And I was like, you better put some money in this sack or you just ruined my show and ruined my living. And this guy threw a piece of paper in my hat and then left. And what this douchebag didn't realize is that the piece of paper he threw in my pocket was an airline stub with his name on it.
Oh
And so
damn.
I looked him up, and he was a real estate guy from Sydney. And so I looked him up, and I found his company, and I found his email, and I signed him up to every single Viagra-based thing I could possibly do. I got his number. I put his number into every single thing I could possibly do. I would call him at 3 in the morning and leave messages, and I just harassed this guy flat out. I would literally just be like,
We
"Hey,
might have
man,
to.
I just got to."
We might.
Yeah.
We might have to edit this section of the podcast. That's what you just described is
tore,
called doxing, and it is incredibly illegal.
I tore shreds off this man because that's
And
what
that
you
has
get
to
when
be
you come after
worthy
Nick Cave.
of a like and share.
That's true. That's true.
I tore
Right.
shreds off this guy.
I've never done
Yeah.
that before. I've never taken it beyond where it was. That's some craziness. Like,
Yeah, holy crap. I mean, in terms of like corporate gigs, like yeah, I've had the groups that are just like too cool for school. They're probably just drunk and they're trying to act all cool, but you know, these days if I even smell that, I just go, "Yep, great, have a good night." Like I couldn't care less that they don't see magic if they're going to be like that because whatever, they're just going to
no, they're
That's
not your
great
people.
they're
No,
not
that's
going
what
to
I do.
enjoy it anyway. Yeah,
I do that with
so
my
Great
street
advice.
shows now, man. I'll start building a crowd, and if like the first 5 people are not my vibe, I just finish it up and say, "See you later, have a good day."
Just pull the
yeah,
plug.
because
Yeah,
at the end of the day, that's right. Like at the end of the day, I guess the vibe I tend to give off at gigs is, I mean, at least the way I think about it is like it's almost like I'm a guest there, and I'm doing this stuff. How do I explain it? Like I'm there because I want to be there and have fun and do magic for people. I'm not like a character that's been hired that must see everyone, if that makes
Yes, yeah.
sense. So like I'm there to go in and have fun. If you don't want to have fun with me, whatever, man, that's cool. And then that same logic gives me the ability to like, you know, really give it to the boss, for example, and whatever, like, oh, I heard you're the new employee. All right, let's see what you got. Pick a card, you know, just have fun. And then that way it seems to create more fun energy. But at the same time, you're not limited to like dealing with that a-hole over there that's trying to check your pockets every 2 seconds.
Yeah. Well, that's
I mean,
good advice because-
we're taking this to a dark place, but only for a sec. Like this is like, you know, 1% of the time. That you know.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, again, this
1%
is all really
is
good
even an
advice because-
overstatement.
Yeah, exactly. And this is all really good advice because ultimately, the way some younger magicians I've spoken with over the past, that the moment that someone tells them like no thank you, or they don't want to see the magic, they have this level of rejection. And the reality is that you're not dealing, there is no rejection to process. And the reason is, what you have is a gift. And if you have a gift that you try to give to someone and they don't take it, guess what? You get to keep it. You get to keep the gift and give it to somebody else who wants it. So that you needn't feel any rejection ever to anyone who, number one, doesn't want to see the magic, and more importantly, number two, doesn't even deserve it. That's Nick's
I don't know if that's
today.
I don't know if that's correct. What I would say is you should feel all of the burn. It should toughen you up. You should develop iron, thick skin. No,
The calluses.
Yeah. And then every now and then, yeah, sorry, keep going.
No, please don't let me cut you off there, Josh. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Now, we need to keep all these sound bites and spread them over the next, 9 months of your 365 challenge.
That's right. Now, the way I see it, when it comes to magic, like if you get heckled, first of all, it's none of your business. Like if someone has something bad to say to you, it's none of your business. Like it has nothing to do with you. Like the fact you're just the easiest target in that situation, because, they think that it's the magician. Like there's this weird stigma with magicians, like they're, nerds, or you have to break that stigma yourself. But also, it's none of your business if someone wants to try and heckle you for something, or if someone wants to be mean to you, or if you walk up to someone and say, hey, do you want to see a trick? And they say no. None of that is any of your business. It's like, you know what I mean? Like if you feel bad about it, that's something that you maybe need to deal with on your own. Like it might not even have anything to do with the magic itself.
It's just interesting because what you're saying is that, like, what we're sort of talking about is people attacking us, but we also need to appreciate that a lot of times when we perform, people have a fear that we are going to attack them. And when I say attack, what I mean is we're going to make fun of them. We're going to make them look foolish. We're going to make them look stupid. And some people are terrified, like, oh, yes, there's a stigma, because some people represent that way, that they go to audiences and they belittle them, make them look silly, or, make them hold their jacket or whatever it might be. But yeah, so some people are like, oh, I don't like magicians. And like, why? Because I saw this one guy who was mean to me and they never want to like do magic ever again. And so I've done performances where I've literally had a guy come and say, I walked over and I'm like, hey guys, I'm here to do some magic. And I when I arrived, I asked for permission. I let him know, welcome to my venue that I'm performing in that evening. My name is Nick. Would you like to see some magic, or am I interrupting conversation? Because if they're like, sorry, mate, we're in the middle of something, I'll leave. Like,
exactly. Again, that's none of your business, right? Yeah.
Of course.
We're in the middle of a conversation. You're like, oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. And so I say to him, he made this face like, oh, and I was like, well, sorry, man. Like, oh, go. I didn't mean to upset you. Like, I just want to make sure you have a good time. He goes, nah, it's okay. Go on. And because everyone else wanted to, this guy was drained of his life. I did my thing, and then he loved it, and he said, sorry, man, like, we just came from a bar, and there was another magician there, and he was so bad, and then he just, like, rattled off about this guy. I'm like, who was this guy? And he was like, oh, you look like this, and I'm like, oh, crap.
Name and shame.
I know, no, never, but I know who this guy is. And so he was like,
I think we all know who this guy is.
Emotional damage.
Sorry.
I think we all know who this guy is.
Yeah, and so the point I want to make here is that if people have a negative connotation about magicians because of a previous experience, and you have the power and ability to get rid of that trauma, for lack of a better word, and you have that ability to give them a better experience in magic, you should do so. Yeah? That's what I think.
For sure. I must say, in Brisbane, like, the magic people in Brisbane have been doing a good job. Like, whether it's they're seeing the actual magicians here, or they're just people are watching more magic on TV or on Full Loss or whatever. I got to say, like, the ratio is getting higher when I approach a group and they're like, oh, I love magic. Yes. Like, that reaction obviously hypes us up. But I've been getting that, like, more often than I used to lately. So magicians in Brisbane, you're doing a good job. Or the TV, or maybe it's Jason's videos. Maybe your videos are getting around to more people. But either way, like, people are liking magic more. Even at this gig, the rugby league gig, I approached this guy and he's like, this is incredible. This morning I was at a wedding and I saw a magician. His name was Nathan something. I'm like, my buddy Nathan.
Nathan Hedger.
Yeah, man. So this guy saw Nathan at a wedding that morning. Then came to the match, watched his team win, and now another magician has turned up. And because Nath did a great job in the morning, he's like, oh, hell yeah. Yeah, let's see some magic. And if Nathan had not done a good job or whatever, just whatever happened, just left any kind of weird feeling in his head, he would have not come up to me. He would have been like, oh, no, not twice in one day, you know. So, and I let Nathan know about it, but yeah.
Yes. Props to Nathan Hedger from Amigan Entertainment. Props to him.
Yeah.
Thank you
Sweet
for your
love.
Promoting
patronage.
companies in amongst our company. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. Yeah, Nathan Hedger. Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to call him. Fuck. He messaged me. He messaged me and was like, "Are you free for a chat?" And I totally forgot.
I can just call him now through the roadcaster.
Bring him up. It's like a real personal thing. Yeah.
Should I? Oh, is it like... Oh, okay. Maybe I won't then.
Yeah, Jason's got to talk about a bladder infection or something to...
You know what I thought would be funny, though? I don't know. We'd have to work out the best way to do this, or maybe our viewers can help us. But on the roadcaster, my phone is linked to it, right? So I can call people on this, but it will come up through... Like, we'll be able to hear the call, essentially. So it would be funny to either mystery call something, or I don't know if we want to go down the route of prank calling, but I'm not opposed to it. But like we could do some kind of calling segment on here. And
I think you should call Penn
be
and Teller
interesting.
right now. Let's ask them some questions.
oh yeah, do you have their number?
Yeah, I got it.
Of course you would have it. I mean, anyone who has Miss Mag 822's subscribage is going to have
Isn't
Penn
that
and
just
Teller's
so
phone
funny,
number.
though? Isn't that so funny?
Bro.
I just remember, it's funny because I grew up
view-
learning magic tricks off that dude, bro.
The viewers might not know, but yeah, Miss Mag 822, aka card trick teacher, is following your boy Jason.
Oh, that's great.
That's
It's
crazy.
pretty awesome when you have that moment where, like, some of your heroes are giving you the acknowledgement. Like, the way I word it is like when they're part of your magic DNA because they've influenced you so much. Like for me, it was Rocco Solano. You know, with his techniques that he uses in magic. And when I bumped into him in Vegas, like I lost my mind and I posted a couple of bits and he actually liked some of my stuff on Instagram. Like that stuff really hits. Jay Sankey liked my stuff the other day and started following me, which I thought was really cool.
Wow.
It's
Actually,
funny because I made a video. I've been making a lot of reacting to magic videos lately, just because I'm kind of feeling inspired by other magicians, but also, you know, good content. I like sharing good quality work. But I made one about Daryl. And he did an ambitious card routine. And there are just some videos that I had rewatched. So I did like one about Paul Daniels, and I did one about Daryl, and I did one about Amazing Jonathan. And there were just some bits in their acts that I didn't even realize that I was using those bits in my day-to-day routines, like jokes that clearly came from them, but I just adopted it and not even known where it came from. And I mentioned it in the Daryl video where I said, the funny thing about your personality is it doesn't actually belong to you. It belongs to whatever inspiration you've drawn from, and that's formed your personality, right? And then I was like, and it's so weird watching these videos and seeing where my personality has actually come from. It's like bits of Daryl and then bits of Paul Daniels and bits of Amazing Jonathan and just all this shit from everywhere. Do you know what I mean? All just crammed into what is now me. And it's just so interesting.
That was a good video too. I was so impressed with like however long ago that was when Daryl made that video, the moves that were so good that he was doing back. Like he's doing a better ambitious
in my mind. I was just
like he's doing a better ambitious routine then than people are now. Like they've totally skipped
100%.
on like learning it properly.
Yeah.
And it's insane.
Yeah.
There's just some stuff out there, right?
Just the little things where he like transfers the break from the pinky to like the biddle grip thumb break. It just things of that nature is just so. It's just little bits of cream that just make everything so much more delicious when you see it, and especially when the spectators consume it too. Like it's great.
Yeah, he does. I don't know if he noticed in that video. I wonder if both of you missed it, but he actually does a deck switch.
Does he?
No, I must have missed that.
He does a deck switch, and everyone misses it, but he does a deck switch. That's how he does the finale trick. He does a whole ass deck switch.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's insane. And nobody catches it. And then you go, oh, wait, that's why he was one of the best. That's why he was the magician's magician.
Yeah.
None of you caught it. None of you caught it, right?
You know,
Yeah, I missed it too. Don't get me wrong. I didn't see it either. I missed it.
what I also find as well is that like these videos that we're talking about, stuff that we've consumed like so many years ago, and it's really interesting that when you evolve as a magician, like something that you might have looked at 10 years ago versus when you see it now, or 5 years ago, or any length of time. Do you find that you see it with different eyes, like let's say mature eyes, when you start to consume the magic again?
Oh yeah.
Well, I know that
'Cause-
I used to have an arrogance when I watched those videos back in the day. Look at watch your Daryl do the ambitious card, and you're like, he's only doing an ambitious card. That's easy. But now when you watch it as an adult, as a mature magician, as it were, and you don't have this need to prove anything, like you're not even, sometimes I think you watch these videos and you try to prove to yourself that you are as good as these people that you're watching. But when you lose that and you don't need to prove to yourself or anyone else, and you start watching it and you actually genuinely enjoy it, you start to just appreciate a different side of it. And most of it comes down to their general mannerisms for me. Like I really enjoy good mannerisms, just like the way that they would address something, the way that it never goes unnoticed. Like if someone drops something, they'll actually stop their performance and pick it up for them or something. You know what I mean? Like they're always so present when they're performing. They're not just doing a routine at someone. They're actually experiencing it all with them, which is just so much more enjoyable to watch.
Even that moment, I watched this through your eyes, Jace, but even that moment where Daryl was like, after he'd done one of the sequences and he's like, all right, cool. And it's he, instead of putting it back in the deck, he goes like this and then does this thing.
Yeah,
and goes,
yeah.
all right, we'll set this packet down here and we'll just use this packet. Like even doing that was crazy to see a little finesse that I hadn't seen happen like ever before.
A lot of people in the comments were like, I can't believe you haven't seen that before. And I was like, it never even occurred to me that was a thing people did. It was a nice moment, though. It added extra beat. And it was just a really cool moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like, watched Ricky J's stuff. And I made a video about that.
Wild. Nice. Speaking of like people influencing people, I saw this. This is pretty cool. This happened yesterday. Ozzy Wynn's Inner Circle show, which I still would love to go and see. He had Edward Norton himself, who is the character in The Illusionist, the iconic movie that we all, know and love, come and see a show. How bloody cool is that? That's got to be a nice little moment, even for him, having probably performed at tons of
you want to book a
celebs.
ticket, bro? Let's go. Let's go check it out.
Kind of,
Where
hey.
is it?
I'll do it.
It's in,
I'll go
it's
for a
in,
trip.
it's in New York. Yeah, it's in New York. It's been playing for the last couple of months now, and it's presented by David Blaine. Like David Blaine's the producer, I guess.
Yep.
But insane. Yeah, it's a close-up show. Everyone's around the table. Some people are at the table. He designed the setting just for the experience of the guests. Like he placed the chairs and made sure everyone could see. They weren't blocked by people's shoulders, all that kind of stuff.
Should we make a booking, brother? I feel like we should talk about it after the podcast. We should.
Let's talk about it after the pod.
Yeah. Let's take a
if we
quick
go
flight
there,
out there for a few days.
I got to take you to see Steve Cohen and then Ozzy Wynn because they're both in New York.
Yeah, we'll do them all. We'll do them both. While we're there, we can also see Ruben Moreland.
Yeah. Hey, did I tell you I got to meet him finally?
Oh, you met Ruben? Yeah, he's a nice dude, eh?
He came he actually came to see us play at QPAC. He came to watch Showman.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, he thought it was shit. He was like, "This is trash. You get too many spectators up on stage. You're butchering your card." No, he had nothing but great things to say. And he particularly was intrigued by my character before he had seen the show because he's like, "Oh, this doesn't look like a typical dressing for a magician," and he knew I did breakdancing and these other elements, so he was keen to see how I mix it in, and he wasn't too disappointed. But super nice guy. Anyway,
yeah, he is. He's a sweet.
He came and saw it. Yeah,
I think we should aspire to do a Magic Live trip, a Magic Guys Magic Live Vegas trip next year.
It has to be.
New York.
We should.
We can do both.
And then we should go to LA, high five a few people in the castle, go to Vegas, run amok, and then
Do you have
bounce over to
connections
New
in the
York.
castle?
Yeah.
Nice. Then you're going to get us in. I don't think I have any.
Oh yeah, no.
We'll definitely get you in.
We have friends. I mean, Simon Coronel. He and Dom are performing there right now. Yeah.
Simon's actually the
Magic
guy
Castle?
that. Simon's the guy that helped me get in the time I went there.
Oh, really?
Simon, yeah.
Simon Coronel. We have Pop Hayden. He'll take care of us.
Bro,
there's a
Jace,
bunch
you
of
just have to
people
put
that
it
we-
out on your Instagram, and someone will be a member
no,
that will
really.
help you.
Yeah, if we plan it, I think it'll be a great trip. We can do that.
Hell
We
yeah.
can bounce over to New York. We can see a couple of shows there as well. Hang out with the right people.
Yeah.
We should plan that for next year because I really wanted to go to Vegas this year, but nobody wanted to go, or nobody had the money
always
to go.
keen for a
Nobody had the
Vegas trip.
time.
Yeah. I was planning to go. Like, me and Jace were talking about it, but then I ended up, I don't know, Jace obviously got busy with the 365. He's doing his traveling, but I ended up getting booked for this run of shows that's particularly like the whole week of exactly when Magic Live is. So anyway, it's a blessing. It's great, but definitely next year I'll like block out the days where I won't accept work. I'm gonna
listeners-
pre-register.
Yeah, just for listeners who are kind of wondering what Magic Live is, it is an awesome, massive magic convention, and the beauty of it is that almost all the American magicians that we've grown and know and love will all be there. Almost most certainly be there. You also might be quite lucky to have a couple of the Europeans come, a couple of, the Spanish might be there as well. But, as far as like meeting with the people that you like love and adore on social media and the Instagrammers, they will all be there because they all go there to gain content. So you will have the pleasure of meeting all the guys you know and love. And it's a good 4 days. And the convention itself is fine. It's great. Like, you get to watch and you see some of these amazing performances. I once saw a person produce a dove with her feet and then split it into two with her feet. Dude, like, it was absolutely amazing. And I mean, the convention itself is great. The lectures are great, but the best time you can have is at the bar, because you will go to the bar and you will sit down with all your heroes, and you will sit there with Danny Garcia, and you will go, Danny, I love you, and he will go, thanks, man, and he'll give you a hug. The best, it is the greatest. And like, for me, I met a lot of people, like, to be able to say to Rocco, you're my magic DNA, I love you. To be able to sit to Michael Amar and high five him and go, I love you, Michael Amar. Those are all well and good. Richard Sanders, brilliant, love him.
I love
him
Richard
so much.
Sanders.
Richard Sanders, dude, absolutely amazing.
Richard Sanders is one of the most underrated goats of all time. He's phenomenal.
He is.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. And they're all there, and you set up these friendships with them, and it's absolutely lovely. And then you meet a few other people just behind the scenes in the game who work for these companies. My good friend Nathan Hickey, love him to bits. Ultimately, for me, what made my thing, like, I mean, my Xavier Spades, all those, they're all very good friends of mine, but my favorite new friend was, I love him, he's a good friend. My favorite, Nicholas Lawrence. Nicholas Lawrence is one of the best creators.
I think he's one of the best creators in the world as well.
Yeah.
I think at the moment though, if I was to categorize it, I think he's my number 2 now. He was my number 1, but I reckon that Tobias currently is the pioneer of Magic. That man is pushing Magic leaps and bounds forwards.
Can I say, when he showed me that shadow routine, if you haven't seen it, friends, I've got it in my cupboard somewhere. I forget what it's called, but it's a beautiful effect where he gets a mobile phone, goes up to a wall, and casts a shadow. It's called Silhouette. Thank you.
Yeah, I got
Silhouette
it as
by
well.
Tobias Dostal. It is one of the most difficult things to be able to perform, but it's an amazing effect where he will basically manipulate shadows. And I saw it live for the first time, and
It's
blew
ridiculous.
my mind. It blew, and you kind of need to be Tobias to perform it to some degree, or maybe Jason Ma, because he seems to have
No,
an amazing
brother.
level of
I opened the box and was like, "Fuck this." I was like, "No, thank you." I was like, "Fuck this."
But
I've got
watching
it
him
sitting
perform it for you,
It's actually
You know-
I have a shelf over here, right? And on the top of the shelf, so there's like the top 2 shelves. That's stuff
Yeah.
that I use all the time. Underneath
Yeah.
that, there's another 2 shelves. That's stuff that I will solemn use. Usually, it's things like gum changing gimmick or some shit.
gotcha.
And on the very bottom is shit that I just will not use because it's either too difficult, too finicky, or just not practical at all. And that is in there. That's just in that shelf. Otherwise,
Right.
down there, it's just not.
Yeah.
It's not for me. It's not going to
We-
happen.
you-
Like,
You notice mine's still in its box. And the
Yeah,
box
yeah.
looks very nice because it's still just sitting in my desk drawer. But god damn, when I saw that trailer,
Yeah.
I
And
remember
dude,
seeing it
he
too.
showed me the gimmick. Like, he showed me the gimmicks and stuff where after you'd done it, and he was like, "I'll be producing. You'll be able to buy it soon. It won't be expensive." And I was just like, "This is going to be a $200 gimmick," and
Yeah.
it wasn't. And I was like, "I'm going to get it. I'm going to give it a crack." And I was like, "This is so hard. This is so hard."
It's-
And I wish I put the. And it's not that I would have put the effort into it if I knew I had more opportunities to perform it. But I
Right,
don't
right.
have many opportunities that it's going to be perfect, you know. So like, I would
Yeah.
put the effort into it, but I think the return or opportunities to be able to perform it would be less than 20% of the gigs that I do. So erroneous of that, it was so great because we were invited to a penthouse that was hosted by Murphy's Magic. So we go up there and he had the entire room and he was doing his thing up against like just a white wall. Everyone was losing their minds. Absolutely crazy. And everyone was there. Like even Banachek was there, you know, watching this. Like it was just insane. Yeah.
What are you doing there, Josh?
oh, nothing, bro. I was just admiring your cube work, and I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe I can.
You know me, I'm a fiddler, bro. I
copy
can't
him.
help it. Can't help it, bro. But look at me, I'm Josh Nobito.
Hey, now you're gonna get
Josh Nobito.
exceptionally less likes.
You guys are just roasting each other. Oh, speaking
It's
of
because
roast,
you know what, Josh? I think you could get more likes for doing that trick.
All
You
right,
just have
tell
to grow
me.
some hair first. Yeah. It helps when
Grow
you have
some
like
hair.
long hair. Yeah, grow some hair.
so just while you guys are roasting each other,
Emotional damage.
Yeah, that cut deep.
just while you guys are roasting each other, I actually hosted a roast yesterday for our good friend Mr. Tim Ellis. He's turned 60, and for his birthday, he asked, "Can you roast me?" And I was like, "Yep, I'll give it a crack." And I, by nature, am not really malicious or say too many things of that nature. But what I did do was I reached out to my good friend Bodan Hatton, who is an expert in this realm, and I used him to help me.
Bodane.
Right. If those of you that don't know who Bodan is, he's absolutely brilliant. He's a comedy genius. I've never seen anybody structure a show as well as he does, and he thinks about things so thoroughly before executing them. He doesn't just go like, "I'll just give it a crack; it'll be good enough." He just doesn't have a brain that does that. He's like, "No, it has to be." So power to Bodan.
Yeah, I worked
But-
with him. I worked with him in the Purple Rabbit.
Oh yeah, how did you find your time with him?
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I didn't really interact with him a whole lot. I think because I was on my way out, and he was on his way in, so he was getting acquainted, and I was like leaving.
But yeah, so Tim, we did a roast for Tim, and it was great. So what I did was I reached out to all of our friends in the Magic Realm. I reached out to Teller and Sean Farquhar and a bunch of others, and they all sent back videos. Teller sent him a roast. Sean Farquhar was at 4F, which is a convention out there, which it's an invite-only convention of about 200 magicians. And basically, it's the best of the best sleight of hand guys, all in the same room, just sessioning. And so he was walking about, Mark D'Souza, David Regal was there, just doing all these videos, wishing Tim a happy birthday. So we had a really, really good roast for him yesterday. And yeah, it was pretty fun.
Happy birthday
That
to
sounds-
Tim Ellis, then, huh?
That all sounds
Oh,
really
yeah.
nice. Like, what was like? Can you give us an example of like one of the roasts?
Oh, yeah.
The roast line?
Okay, so what I said was, when Tim first asked me to do the roast, I Googled how to roast old meat, and I ended up just finding a bunch of recipes for mutton.
Oh boy.
And then I also learned that really old meat has really bad odor and is very pale, which I think describes Tim perfectly.
That's
and,
savage, bro.
Damn.
Sorry.
Said
I have
roast.
to write it with Bodan's help.
Out.
Yeah, Dom and Simon did theirs together at the castle. They were filming each other, like filming and just reading them out to, and those were brutal. Those were absolutely insane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they were so good. And so we roasted him away. But yeah, that was a good time.
Damn.
That's a great pen. Where do you even get
Flash.
This pen, geez, I got this from a magic shop like years ago. I don't know if they sell it anymore.
that? I've been trying to find them for like 1,000 years.
Doesn't fit.
I wonder if you could do the Sharpie like Gregory Wilson's recap with that pen. Hey!
And then it's underneath this knee.
Oh
Ooh.
yeah! All right.
I can't
what
do it.
about-
I got headphones on. Hang on. All right, you ready on the count of 3? 1, 2.
Oh!
Oh, look at that,
I'll
bro.
pay
Your hair,
Huh?
I'll pay that.
the
There you
hair
go.
covers it pretty well.
I was waiting for that bit.
I can't put the
Dude, your
this
hair
doesn't fit
covers
my
it.
ear.
Your hair covers it pretty well, though. Like, even
Yeah,
when
but
you
this-
had the whole pen there, you turn around, your hair was covering the whole pen.
I can't fit this. Look at that. I can't fit this in my ear though.
In the ear
unfortunately.
canal.
We're going to have to rename the trick when you're using a jumbo pen. We're going to have to call it, like, replug or something. So you're not using your ear.
Yeah. I agree.
That's a trick for Bob Possible.
Ooh, shit. Ooh. Ooh.
Man, the man never stops. It's just,
Just
holy.
just mess it around.
If you guys are just listening to the podcast, you're doing yourself a great disservice. You need to watch it on YouTube because there is just this one window which contains Jason Ma, and it's just a hurricane of magic happening non-stop. It's just happening all the time.
Go on, Josh, do some Rubik's Cube stuff. The people want to see it. One person wants to see it.
One person. Oh, that's all I need. That's my usual live video. All right, we got. Check it out. We got a mixed cube. Okay, gonna put it in my mouth. And then,
You can't solve that. He's cheating.
and it's soft. Oh yeah, baby. What do you
Damn,
expect? Real magic?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. What about hey, Josh? You want to see my new instant solve that I'm working on? Check this out, bro. You ready? Oh, fuck. Oh, look at that. It doesn't even have
Wow.
stickers anymore. It's a totally different cube now.
Wow, I've
That's a
seen
good
worse,
trick.
man. I've seen worse. So that was pretty good. You know what? We were talking about Tobias being like one of the best creators right now. I got to say, commercial-wise, Henry Harris is got to be way
yeah,
up there
that's
as well.
Yeah, Henry Harris is all over it.
The quality of products that guy brings out, like the quality of it, is
Yeah, I
great.
bought a
And now
shitload of
he's
the bottles.
now he's brought out the what's it called? Cube Buster. He's found a
Which
way
one's
to
that one?
bring a new premise of cube magic as well. But
What's
premise
what's the
is
overall effect?
well,
Yeah.
the effect is you have instead of a
What's the gimmick look like?
3x3, instead of a 3x3, you have like a 10x10 cube or something, and that gets mixed up, put in a bag, comes out solved. But before you do that part, you have them pick a card, and it's solved. But when you turn it around, it actually has the card revealed on one of the sides, like written in, like the color pattern mixed into it.
And how much are we talking here for that?
Or Australian, it's gonna be a bit. That's probably like 300-400 Australian, I reckon.
I'll take 3.
But it looks, he's found a new way to make cube magicians want to spend more money, basically.
Genius. Genius.
We've exhausted all the different ways of solving a cube. Now we go bigger.
Yeah, the man
And,
makes quality stuff, right? Like,
Yeah, 100%. You do
There's-
cube work in your routines as well, right, Nick? I think I even saw you do
do.
some at the assembly convention back in the day.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I originally was influenced by Karl Heinz,
Nice.
and his cube work, and so I was
oh, I'm
getting
into cube work.
Oh yeah, like he did a whole thing before Steve Brundage had really brought it to light with his social media and time on AGT. But that's where I learned it from.
Yeah, Jace, he, I don't know if because he did it before it was, mainstream. When we went and saw him lecture, Jace, at the
Yeah, I
Red Brick
remember,
Hotel, he did a cube solve in a bag. I don't know if you recall it, because we didn't think that much of it at the time, because we didn't really mess with cubes. Or I didn't, at least. But yeah, he did like a cube solve in a bag, and I didn't think much of it, because I didn't understand like the technicality and stuff that can go into cube magic at the time.
Yeah,
Sure,
But,
yeah, I don't remember it at all. I vaguely recall meeting him when I was street performing, and he came out.
Yeah. I remember him doing some pretty wild stuff. And I remember That was the first time
Yeah.
I saw that line of, "Hey kid, give me 5," and then you back palm the $5. Like, $5, thanks.
Oh yeah. The only lecture that sticks with my memory quite well is the David Stone lecture. That's the
Yeah,
only
boy.
one. I can't remember really any of the others. I remember Tango briefly, but I only remember the routine where he used the ultimate gimmick or whatever it was, the ultimate coin gaff or whatever. And
Yeah,
he just
true.
produced like 57 coins on the table. That's the only thing I remember though. But David Stone, fuck man, I want to see that guy again.
Man, I do so much of his material. Even
Yeah, so
from
do
that
I.
lecture, like the red cap to black cap was from that lecture. And
I know, I remember. Yeah, and I took the chained big pen. I took that bit.
yeah, I still haven't to this day, and I want to do that the weak man gimmick, with you
Oh, I
glue
do
the
that one.
Sharpie lid on.
I do that. I do that
Oh
now in
yeah,
the streets. Yeah, I've been
damn.
doing it for a while.
I so
I
want to
don't
do
bring
it.
it out every time, but I do use it. Yeah, it's funny.
So funny, so
Really,
funny.
It's a really funny bit.
Do you remember this Nick?
I do, yeah. Yeah, in fact, I was chatting to David Stone just recently because he did a nice video for Tim as part of that roast as well.
Flex.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
he was great. And whilst Dave was here, I was, like everyone was busy doing their own thing and, being full-time magician. I took him around quite a bit. We did quite a bit of magic together and stuff and hung out, and I took him to all the places I work and the bars and whatever else. But yeah, he's crazy creative, and the thing is, he doesn't consider himself to be that creative. He doesn't consider himself to be someone who produces a lot of magic when we spoke. But that being said, what he does produce, I think, is just gold. Like it is.
And man, the tool, the sticker dot, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
splash.
I mean,
yeah.
Like, dude, the guy comes up with heaps of stuff. Kidding me? That dude is
Yeah.
like,
I know.
I think he's
And
like
that's-
a fundamentals for most working magician.
When I first
he's very
watched his Blackpool convention, it was so inspiring at the time because he made it like part lecture, part like inspirational, the uprising of him. Oh, we got a question. Nick, what is your favorite magic poster?
I really like. There's a light blocking it, but there's a sorry. There's a Houdini King of Cards one, which I really like because Houdini's not really known for his card work. Like he's the guy that you would chain and throw to the bottom of a river. And so I
No,
kinda
brother, he's
like
the guy that would
this
get fooled by a card trick.
Yeah,
A card trick
that's
that
true.
fooled Houdini, as
Yeah,
they would say.
and I also really like the Keller posters because they have the imps, and a lot of people don't understand like what the imps are about. But also Thurston, in his posters was also surrounded by that sort of imps, and the imps are these guys in basically red pajamas, and the idea is that they would, like find someone worthy of learning the magic, and then they would help them find where all the good bits of magic are. And so you can see here in Keller's poster that they're holding the book and there's a giant imp trying to show him like, here's where the information is, here's what you need to know about magic. And so that's why I really like things with the imps. Yeah, it's
Would
quite
you
a-
say
quite a
Josh
good
is an
time.
imp? Take that as a no.
That's-
He's getting a call
It's gone straight into work mode, brother.
from
Sorry,
one of his imps. Yeah.
Those dropped out for a sec. Could you adjust that again?
No,
That's
it's too late, man. It's over.
That must have been the best bit of the podcast just then too. That was quality content. Jason just dropped.
What is
Oh, good.
going
I get to
on?
hear myself twice.
Sorry. I'm back.
All right, I could hear myself talk. I still can. There's some echo going on here, Nick.
I'll fix it.
I'm just going to mute your mic for a
Yeah,
sec
that's
while he
better.
gets it.
Wait, what? Yeah, that's better.
We're back.
Damn, Nick.
Nice.
So
Nice.
sick of Nick's shit.
Oh.
bro.
Oh, wait, that was because I muted him, but I'll bring him back now. Oh, he chose to mute
I'm
himself.
back.
All
I'm
right.
back. I'm good. Sorry.
All right, sweet.
Yes. Yes.
La, la. Let me just check. La 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 la. You will never get this, and then she break out of cage and she.
You
get
will
this.
never
Okay.
get this, and then wait, it's echoing.
Oh no.
All right,
Not
so what's
again.
next on the agenda, boys? What are you guys doing with your lives besides sitting here and talking shit and doing gigs?
Well, we're doing we're doing Trick a Day May, and Josh, you're doing some really lovely stuff. Well done. Really
Thank you,
enjoying
one
it.
person.
I like to think I like the thing with the trick, the board, the most recent one, the trick deck.
Oh, the tech
That was
deck.
awesome. Yeah, that's so clever. Well done.
Thank you. It took a long time to come up with it for such a simple 40 seconds. But isn't that the way? You know,
It is the way. It is the way.
I wouldn't know, bro.
it is the way of May, unless you're mayor.
Can't believe you did Trick or Day May, bro. You always tell me every year, I'm not going to do it this year, and then you do it.
I even said on the video I'm not going to do it on the first one, and for some reason I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you proud of
It's
yourself?
just-
not yet.
You should be.
Exactly what I thought would happen is happening. It
What's
starts, it gets viewership on the first one, and then you drop in, and it sort of just lulls. Like, even though I'm trying my damn bestest to put out great magic,
Keep doing it. See, this is the problem, though, is that you're looking at you're focusing on the views too much. What you should be thinking of it like is that you're gonna, in a month, you're gonna have a body of work that you can be proud of, whether people watch it or not. Right? You should still be proud of it.
That's good
Thank you.
advice. Yeah,
Thank you, man.
it's kind of remarkable that there's times where I've paid videographers to follow me around at gigs, and I cut up some stuff and I put it online, and it gets 200 views, and then I have somebody who's drunk filming me with the most shaky, phone recorded poor audio, and it gets 11,000 views, and you're like, how does this?
Yes, man. People like authenticity. People like authenticity. Too much effort is the enemy of progress, I think. Like if you put in like a video that's like highly edited and it's like all professionally done and neat and tidy, it's boring. There's no personality. But if you have a video, where it's shaky, what I would recommend, man, the next time you have someone follow you around, make it someone that you know that's like a friend who maybe isn't an expert videographer getting the perfect angles and stuff, but someone who maybe is a little bit messy with it. And then, the thing that Shakaby always did well is that he always created that image of like somebody in the crowd filming, right? When he did his like he could still edit beautiful videos, but he could also be like a spectator holding a camcord type of guy, and that's what you want. Authenticity. You want people to feel immersed in it, not like they're watching a feature film of a guy they don't give a shit about.
Yeah, so it's more like just being the genuine POV of a spectator and really getting amongst it.
Yeah, I mean, like if every video that I make when I do the sitting at the desk and stuff like that, they're all pretty lazily filmed. If you really break it down to what it is, they're not like, I'm not going out of my way to do it, and I'm not adding all these effects or anything. I'm just kind of like haphazardly making a video. And the reason they do well is because they're easy to digest. Does that make sense? It's hard to explain it other than like, just the easier it is to digest the content, the more people are likely to watch it. And the first frame of your content is often very important as well. So like the thumbnail, I guess, because you can't technically pick a thumbnail, but you can have the very first frame. So like you'll notice, like in a lot of the videos, I'll be like, I'll have the thing like this, and then it's like, all right, guys, got a nice quick one for you here today, and then the thumbnail is like, a cool back design or something, all right, guys, got a nice quick one for you here today. You know what I mean? And it's, or like if you're doing cube magic, you could like start off with like the cube like this. Probably you could even have it spinning, because that first frame of it spinning would look really sick, right?
Okay.
And like that and shit like that.
Jason and I being friends for this long, if you watch any of my Trick or Day Mates, you'll notice me copying that exact notion. That's what I try to do. Like that's, this video just gone, like the opening scene is me doing micro skateboarding stuff.
Off a bow of cards too, I noticed. It looks cool. Yeah, it was a good first frame. First frame is important. Yeah.
First frame, everyone.
None
of this. Hey guys, it's day whatever of Trick or Day May, and today I'm doing a trick with. They've already
cut
left.
that out. Cut that shit out. Yeah, cut that shit out.
Yeah.
Should just be like what the video you made today was good though, because you're like, all right guys, I'm going to show you a trick with a top deck or a deck of cards and you even fumbled over your own thing, which was fucking awesome.
Yeah, you know why? Because I was like, I realized
so many decks.
I like a few takes in, I realized I'm doing a tech deck, but I've really just created a routine using tech and a deck, and I was like so impressed with myself in that moment. I was like, oh fuck, that's so clever. So let's take the tech, let's take the deck, and let's take the tech deck. And then I like pause for a second. I'm like, fucking good. All right, and we're going to do this.
There's one part of your video that I find particularly funny, by the way. So,
oh no, what do I find?
All of this is good, by the way. No, all of this is good. All of this stuff is great. I'm going to turn this down so we don't get weird sound here. But all of this is good, and then it's the part where you ask Siri to pick a card for you.
Oh, in the skateboard video.
Yeah. I think it's not.
Oh, because I cut out the word Siri.
No. Cutting out the word Siri is good. It's so all of this is good. Introducing the tech there, introducing Siri. It's this. You ready? This part. That part I find super strange, and maybe you should have I don't know.
Can I tell you what happened in my head? Siri did that stupid thing where she goes, "Okay, let me shuffle first." Normally she'll just say the card.
Yeah.
So in my brain, after hearing, you talk about stuff always needs to be happening, I'm like, fuck, I can't just keep the phone here. So this is my attempt to keep stuff happening.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was. In my personal opinion, I would have just refilmed it.
Yeah. I wanted to see how it played out, but probably I should have redone it. That would
have been the part where most people would have left, I think. But the rest of it was fantastic. Like the start of the other one with the finger gun is all good. Like you're doing good stuff at the moment. If I was you, I'd just keep making them the way you're doing them now. They're good.
Yeah, it is fun. Like
the card flick into the cube is nice. Like these are all nice intros, man. These are great. The 3 cubes. Like these are all nice, and the colors, like your colors in your footage is really vibrant. So it's really good stuff.
Now give me the butt.
No. There's no but. But this one I probably wouldn't have made this one.
Yeah. We're all waiting for that one of you.
Might have been a little bit too ambitious of you. But the rest of it was the rest of the ones you've done have been really good.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
Just keep
and it's fun. And I am, like you said, I'll look back on this body of work and I am enjoying it. And it's, it's fun.
The other thing that you might want to remember too is that you have, 3,000 or so followers, right? Is that right? I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Something like that, right? 3,000, which is great. Obviously, it's amazing. But yeah, 3,100. But you've had that following for you've had a following of over 2,000 for 3 or 4 years now, right? Which means that your actual following size is probably closer to 500 or 600. Right.
No
So that number is an inflated number at the moment because of how long it's taken to get to that number. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Yeah, the average watch of these videos are around that number, 500.
Yeah, right. So, and if you can keep that in mind, the fact that your videos are getting 1,800 views, 1,700 views, 2,000 views, 1,600 views, that means that you're probably getting more than the actual following that you have, which means your videos are doing well. Even though you think they're not, they are doing well.
Nice. I must say, it's funny to watch them on different platforms. They're doing the best on YouTube out of all. And so, just viewership wise.
Oh, you put them on YouTube as well?
As shorts, yeah.
I can't believe you almost didn't do that too. You were like, no, I'm going to put them as stories. I was like, no.
I would have been okay with that too, but
they're doing about the same. They're doing about the same as your Instagram, which is great. It's good.
You hear that,
you should
everyone?
be happy, bro. I reckon you'll blow up soon. This might be your year if you keep going.
I love how you say that every year. And every
year you stop. No, every year you stop though. I say it because you start producing good shit. And then you go, it's not working. And then you give up.
I think this should be a big topic of conversation, a dedicated episode on how to social media.
Absolutely. And when Jace, when you come on the next episode in 6 months, we'll nail that episode and it'll be great.
Well, the reason I say because the advice I get is just do it, see what happens, see what sticks. And it's that's great. But I don't know, give me some direction.
I mean, Nick, your videos are great this year too. I like that instead of filming it on your phone, you're using your 360. It gives a different, you can tell it's not filmed from a phone because it's got that sort of wider field of view kind of thing going on. Even that is nice to see. We have a comment from Bob Possible here. Just quickly, Bob says, Josh, how much to come be my camera guy? Well, for those who know this podcast well, Bob, I've done my absolute darndest to be your camera guy. In which I helped send you a camera, and that is probably the most I can do from here. So any content you put out is your own fault, my friend, because I've done the work on my end. You just got to
So,
make your videos.
Nick,
Love you, bro.
buy yourself an LED strip, bro.
Yeah, well, there's all these bits that, like, I had the same conversation with my girlfriend who's a photographer, and she showed me a bunch of lights that I could be implementing to add a bit more of a vibe, and I'm like, oh, you're right, you know? But again,
Yeah, you definitely
like,
need that. 'Cause
just
you got a
do
lot
it
of
and
white
see what
light.
happens.
You got
I
a
mean,
lot of
even
white
right
light.
now, it looks like I'm just sitting here talking on a podcast, but I've got a studio light on me right here in
Yeah.
a soft box. I've got a ring light right here. Then I'm backlit by these two things. I've got a LED strip up here. And all
Yes,
the other
I'm
natural
not-
light is off. So
I'm
I
not
can
using the
control
best
it.
lighting at the moment. I have two lights coming in this way, key lights, and then I have the backlight.
Yeah.
So I'm separated from my background, kind of, but I'm not edge lighting. There's no edge lighting, so I kind of blend into my background a little bit here. But
And if
so
I
Nick,
need to, I've got
you're
an extra light
360.
I can turn on if I have to. I can add more light if whatever happens, you know?
Are you
Yeah,
filming on an
yeah.
Insta 360?
I am, yeah.
Yeah. What frame rate are you filming at?
I think at 4K and 30.
Is it okay? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
There's a funny thing about frame rate, man. So the human eyes naturally see at 25 or 24 frames per second. Well, 25, 24 doesn't really matter, but
Yeah, yeah.
so anything more than that or less than that is actually uncomfortable to look at for long periods of time.
See what I
Yeah.
mean? This is
Yeah, so-
we should.
And do you know
So like
something?
watching
Make a
watching your
dedicated
videos, watching your videos now, like having a little look at them now, I can already at the top of my eyes, it already feels like
an effort.
like there's it's like a fatigue almost at the top of your eyes. Like you'll feel
That's
if you watch your own
remarkable 'cause
videos, you'll actually feel physically that fatigue. It's
Yeah,
a very
and
strange
that's remarkable
feeling.
because
But
there's video gamers out there playing games at like 8K graphics card at 60 frames a second, and they're doing 10 hours straight.
yeah, but that's
know,
because
on-
there's not a natural motion blur to video games though.
You know something
so that's
I
the difference. The
I
motion
figured
blur
out-
that's added in a video game is digitally enhanced. So it does
True.
it creates that natural movement for you. So you can film at 60 FPS on a video game. But their cameras
Okay.
that are on them would be at 25 still. Right?
Yeah.
And then when they
or
produce the
maybe
video,
30 if they're in the US. Like StreamYard, for example, this platform that we're streaming on, I did not know this until it gave us the functionality to download clips from this podcast. And when I downloaded it and put it into Premiere, it shows up that it's recording this in 30 frames per second. And I always wondered why my camera, even though it's a DSLR, why it's jumping every now and then. And it's because we're filming at 25 frames per second. It's downloading at 30 frames, and it's skipping because there's not enough frames. So now I'm actually in 50 frames per second, which is making it actually smooth because now it's more than what it's recording in. It's so wild, like the different frame rates for stuff. Like
technology is
it's so
strange, bro. It's strange.
It is
when you
really
learn all this
strange.
shit.
Yeah, and I just learned now, like technically you can still do slow mo in Premiere Pro even at 25 frames if you use the
'cause you
optical
use-
flow option. It's
because it adds
changed
frames
my
in.
life.
It adds frames from
Like
AI. It
yeah,
creates-
like guesses.
Have you,
It's
bro,
crazy.
have you actually done the frame by frame on those frames, by the way?
Well, so
like the
yesterday,
obviously in motion it looks great, but if you actually
Yeah.
look at each frame that's been digitally added, they look really weird. Like it's such a
True.
weird looking.
Well,
weird.
especially if there's too much stuff happening. Like the tech deck video I filmed, I had to film in 50 frames so I could do the opening sequence in slow-mo. And I tried to use optical flow in it, and I posted it, and I quickly deleted it because I realized like it was adding these weird artifacts into it that like, yeah, as you're saying, like, but it was noticeable. So when the thing flipped up, it went all pixelated. My fingers went like a square. I was like, what the hell? For like one frame.
Yeah, that happens. It's very interesting.
It was Oh, John. Oh my God. Everyone's like, "Whoa, you guys are going past an hour." You're right. But
Yeah.
that's just what happens when we're here having fun, you know?
That's all right. We can keep going. Nah, it's over.
All right, Jace,
over now.
leave
Now-
him
now
with
that-
some
Now that
inspiration.
you said it, it's over. Yeah, okay. Here's my inspirational quote for you. If you believe that you can, you can, and if you believe that you can't, you can't. Yeah. Just remember that. It might sound like nothing now, but whatever you believe for yourself, that's what's the reality. So
Thanks for listening. It's time for us to disappear now. But we'll see you again on the next episode of The Magic Guys.